See what we doing? Check. My outfit look like. You know another nigga that's been like this. Watch change color when I lift my wrist. Listen, Motel 16 on that right. She got a boyfriend like mine, nigga. I'm like, cool, I'm trying to be.
Diddy turned me down. I was 12
You gonna
years
watch
old.
this? Let's talk about him right now.
But it's love now. This is like my family, my brother now.
But let's get to the point.
But it was a blessing.
You went to see him.
Yeah.
Was you dancing?
So basically, it came as a package deal.
4 years, the music industry celebrated what it never fully questioned. Now, after years of silence, Chris Brown appears to be pulling back the curtain on Sean Combs. This is not just about two celebrities. It is about power, influence, and the cost of staying quiet. And once silence breaks, the entire system starts to sound different.
Jack, you mentioned Erykah Badu, and you had said that you are related.
Yeah.
Faith is related, and you had mentioned that your relation, kind of the family tree of it all.
Just like Snoop is related to Brandy and
yeah, I
Red
just
Jack.
saw Instagram posted a list of people who are related. I was like, oh shit! Like, there's a lot.
Most people in the industry are related.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that interesting? Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Think about it. Look at Wanye right now with his sons.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why he signed them to marry. I don't get it. The bitch can't read. Why would you trust a contract coming from a bitch that can't read? Clearly she didn't write it. And if she can't read, then clearly she didn't read it. So who's writing the fucking contract that those kids signed?
Yeah.
It ain't her.
Yeah.
And guess what? Considering the deal their father signed, I don't know. Boyz II Men got fucked. They got raped by Michael Bivins. Raped. And I'm not saying sexual assault. I'm talking about pockets.
Yeah, man.
Right through.
Very bad.
They had one of the worst recording contracts ever. It was almost as if Michael Bivins was like having like PTSD from New Edition being a
days.
child star and said, I'm gonna find some real talented guys.
We gonna do this again.
And I'm gonna fuck them over worse
We
than
gonna
we
do this
did.
again.
So we can say it happened to somebody else.
That's PTSD for you. That's like, we're gonna make them relive it. Make them relive it. Goddamn.
Why would you do that to another artist?
Yeah.
Why would you sit there and say, man, we had the #1 record and we were still on food stamps, and then force your group to do that?
Hey, man.
Why would you do that?
Be your own people.
You wanna know how fucked off it was for Big Mike at the end of his run before he had to leave Boyz II Men?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Let me tell you how bad.
4 years, one of the most discussed realities in entertainment was not what people said publicly, but what they chose never to say. Sean Diddy Combs stood for influence, access, and a network that stretched across music, fashion, nightlife, and culture. Around figures like that, silence often becomes currency. Chris Brown, another artist whose career has moved through controversy and survival, remained largely distant from direct public commentary. That absence now carries new weight. When silence lasts this long, the eventual words matter less for gossip and more for what they reveal about the cost of speaking at all. In industries built on image, how many truths are delayed simply because timing is controlled by power?
Gambino retires. Usher gets the Lifetime Achievement Award. Diddy is still on the loose. And KBD is finally talking to the fans before R. Kelly proving he is the dumbest in history.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life.
Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Is that just like expected? Like when you see like, oh yeah, this Murder Inc., Irv Gotti, that's, Ashanti probably had to deal with all that.
What the girl said.
Yeah, I read
He
a little
wanted
bit.
the sloppy toppy.
Yeah, sloppy
He
toppy.
wanted it now.
Right now. And
I ain't want my sloppy toppy. I want it now.
he says you sound like a baby. Anyway,
Yeah.
no.
From what I heard, he sounded like a baby when he was begging for money from Lucy and Graham. You know, everybody's forgetting how he sat there and slut shamed the shit out of Ashanti. And then talked about that music and then bragged about how he sold all of their mother publishing rights to that weirdo vampire, Lucian Grange. And he sat there, I don't have to worry about BET because, you know, see, I know people like Lucian Grange. So did Diddy. Did he you too? Like, it's just...
Man.
I wouldn't be bragging. I said that. When he did the Ching Chance, I said it. That's not a flex.
Yeah.
Bragging about Lucian Grange hooking you up don't look so good right now, do it. That ain't aging all that well. Because everybody know that Lucian has been Diddy and the Sean Carter. They sugar babies. So what the you? I'm just curious. With the Diddy doo-wop and the bop. All I can say is this. When you're used to bitches giving you all kinds of affection and then you don't become as popular as you get older, you still expect for people to treat you the way they treated you when you was really popping. These want to accept they ain't popping like that no more. They used to the girls, yo, let me get some, suck my baby. Oh yeah. And that is like, well, I don't really feel like it. He's sitting looking like 5 years ago, bitch, you been on your knee.
Yeah.
You know. Now you got ego involved.
Yeah.
Chris Brown and Diddy represent two different eras of fame. One emerged as a performer whose talent arrived early and whose career became inseparable from public scrutiny. The other built himself as an executive archetype, someone who could shape rooms without stepping on stage. Their paths crossed within an ecosystem where younger stars often learn quickly who controls invitations, endorsements, and opportunities. Brown's remarks, however measured, invite a larger question about mentorship versus hierarchy. When younger talent enters a system already ruled by gatekeepers, is guidance being offered or dependence being created?
The last encounter you had where you worked for him, first time to the last time, what was that timeline?
Well, if you say the first time, it would have to be in round 90 when he got jumped into a group of ours called the Same Gang.
Literally jumped into.
Right.
Like when I think about jumped into, I mean he's jumped.
Well, he ran first.
Okay,
and
got
then,
it.
And then the guys caught him. And if you look on the back of my book, that's the crew right there. You know, on the back of the book. The younger guys caught him. We was on 44th and 8th Avenue, 144th Street and 8th Avenue. He ran down to 127th
Oh, wow. Street.
And they caught him and they brought him all the way back up, you know, roughed him up pretty bad.
How bad was it?
It wasn't bad at all, but it was enough to embarrass him real good, because D. Ferg, who was one of the, like A$AP Ferg father, he's a rapper. He owned the clothing line. Him and Puff was real close. So he didn't want him hurt too bad, so we just more so embarrassed him, the older guys, like taking champagne bottles, splashing in his face, hitting him with cakes in the head and everything, smacking with cakes and everything. We let the younger guys rough him up, you know what I'm saying? So that was about in 90 when he got into the Same Gang.
So he's born 69, 90, he's 21 years old when this happens.
Yeah.
Was he tough? His father was a tough, somebody that was in the military and was linked to Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas, and he was a heroin dealer. So maybe he had a little bit of the genes, but was he somebody that you would say he was a tough guy, he could stand up, he wasn't afraid?
Puff wasn't no pushover.
Okay.
I don't know why people would think that he was just a total pushover. He knew, like certain guys do, they know who to mess with and who not to mess with.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's any guys in the street. It's very few guys that don't care who the guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I grew up in St. Louis, we went toe to toe. We didn't care who you was or where you was from or what's your size or nothing like that.
In celebrity culture, reputation can survive longer than evidence and collapse faster than fact. Diddy spent decades cultivating an image of celebration, authority, and strategic brilliance. Chris Brown, by contrast, has long lived with the opposite problem, a public reputation often fixed to past mistakes regardless of artistic output. That contrast matters. When one controversial figure comments on another, audiences rarely hear only the statement. They hear the reputation speaking through it. Yet reputations are not records. They are narratives, and narratives can conceal as much as they reveal. Who gets the benefit of complexity, and who remains trapped in a single headline?
In the streets when Mace got signed, he was 20 years old. When you think about the deals and the things that people sign, Puff is a manipulator. He's gonna find you when you down and you out. And of course you're gonna agree to some of these things because you down and you're out. The same way when I got home from jail. I'm coming home from jail. Puff knew a way to manipulate me. Like, yo, he gonna wanna be around me. He just came home. All he knows about me. I got money and fame. I'm gonna throw him a couple of crumbs, but a couple of crumbs seem like a half of a pie when you don't really have nothing and you in that situation. So listening to the situation between him and Mace, it's ludicrous that you still got that man publishing after all these years. It's ludicrous that you gave that man a certain amount of $1,000. I don't want to call it out whether it was 20, I think it was 20 or something Mace said, and that you still got it 20 years later when if you really respect me and I really meant something to you, after that, I would have been, after I made $1 million, I would have been like, yo, listen, now he's made that 100 times over. So of course, I feel like Mace have every right to feel the way that he feel. Because if you say we brothers and you say you love me the way that you do every day, then I shouldn't have to do all this. You should call me back to the table. You should say, let's renegotiate that. I shouldn't have to go through all that.
I hear that, man. Okay, do you have any stories with Mace or anything from back in the day?
Nah, we're two different age groups. He's more my little brother. I think I might have Mace by like, at least like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have no stories with him.
Okay.
Only stories I have with him is when we was on tour, on the Bad Boy tour, you know, we would see each other, we would speak, everything all right. Him and my little brother was really, really, really cool.
You know, now one of the things, you know, they say they got like 100 witnesses and all that, man. You know, have you been contacted by the FBI? Have they reached out to you for anything?
No.
The modern scandal economy rewards exaggeration, but real documentary scrutiny asks a slower question. What was truly said, and what is being projected onto it? Chris Brown's comments have been interpreted as criticism, distancing, and even confirmation of long-circulating suspicions. But interpretation often outruns evidence. A pause, a phrase, a refusal to defend someone publicly, these can become louder than direct accusations. That is how rumor transforms into perceived fact. The issue is not only what celebrities mean, but how audiences complete unfinished sentences. In a culture addicted to decoding, has ambiguity become more powerful than testimony?
Gene Deal, let's get right into it. Diddy, he got indicted. You called it, man. A few weeks ago, you was on the platform and you said that he was going to get arrested in September.
Yeah, man. Anybody who in law enforcement or people know the law, when Homeland Security ran up into his house, people will tell you, or people knew that it was just a matter of time that they was going to indict him and bring him in to see the judge, bro. It was just a matter of time. I just figured out with the grand jury and their different sessions and stuff like that, and then what one of the witnesses told me, I just figured it out that it was going to be around September that they were going to bring him in, bro. People might not understand. It's difficult when you see a brother that has so much promise become an icon as far as in the music business and stuff that he did, to turn around and just tear his whole life down. But it's all because of his mentors and the people that trained him and taught him the music business. You know, it's all about the people who trained and taught him the music business, because Puff wasn't, he wasn't born a monster. You know what I'm saying? He was made into a monster, brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was made into a monster. from the stuff that happened to him, the things that he had to do. You understand? The things that he had to do to become who he is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like this, brother. You never like something so much that you can't do it out. And you never be willing to do anything to get where you want to be at. You gotta have principles, you gotta have morals, you gotta keep with that stuff. And in that music business, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window. You understand? And that's what happened to him. He started doing the things to other people that was done to him. To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him. And it is what it is. You gotta know better. And if you know better, you will do better. When he was in New York City, he was like—
Entertainment history is full of private stories told only after careers cool, alliances fade, or legal pressure changes the landscape. Loyalty in these spaces is rarely simple affection. Sometimes it is strategic, sometimes fearful, sometimes transactional. If Brown waited years to speak in any form, that delay may say as much about the environment as about the individuals involved. Powerful figures do not merely command attention. They shape memory itself by influencing what gets repeated and what disappears. How many witnesses become silent participants simply by choosing self-preservation? Cassie Ventura's lawyer responded to Sean Combs' apology video. Moments after Diddy released a statement addressing 2016 footage that shows him assaulting Cassie, her attorney, Meredith Firetog, called out what she described as disingenuous words. In a statement to CNN, she said his remarks focused more on himself than on the many people he has hurt. When Cassie and multiple other women first came forward, he denied everything and suggested that the accusations were motivated by money. This referenced a post he made in December 2023, claiming the allegations were meant to assassinate his character, destroy his reputation, and dismantle his legacy. Her lawyer added that he only apologized once his repeated denials were proven false, describing the move as desperation and insisting no one would be swayed by it.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. Now they're going to therapy, they're going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness.
Once serious allegations enter the public record, every old interaction gets re-examined. Photos once seen as glamorous become artifacts. Interviews once dismissed as playful are replayed with darker questions. Associations that once enhanced status can suddenly become liabilities. Chris Brown's comments arrive in a climate where many public figures are recalculating proximity. This is common whenever institutions begin to crack. People reassess where they stood, what they knew, and what they ignored. But is late distance an act of conscience or simply a reaction to changing winds?
They find 1,000 bottles of baby oil and 500 dildos. There's some suspect activity happening, Piers.
It's like you pass by the door and see a party in an apartment, you go in, you have a drink, and then you go home and realize Jeffrey Dahmer was eating and killing people.
Some women went there thinking, oh, you know, we're gonna have a freak off.
The fact that we as a society, we got mad for a week, money talks, and bullshit walks.
Esther, please bear with me. We all know that there are pass-arounds.
Someone like P. Diddy, I'm sorry, it should be the guillotine.
If that was my daughter and I saw that on camera, it would have been a wrap for Diddy.
Just 1 year ago, Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most successful rappers and producers in music history, was on top of the world. The VMAs honored him as a global icon.
The frequency is up. We're having a Club Love party. That's like a special private party that I throw, but you're invited. You're invited, Club Love. It's all R&B all night. All the things that I would play in my vibration, my frequency, because my frequency is different.
Well, the party's over for Diddy Combs. That global icon has now become a global pariah. Last week, Damian Williams, a US district attorney in New York, stepped in front of a microphone and told a shocked world this.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Well, Diddy is now awaiting trial at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He was denied bail. According to some reports, he's refusing food and could even be on suicide watch. The case threatens to engulf the VIP world with fevered speculation about sordid tapes featuring celebrities and even politicians. So who knew what and when? How far could this go? Is this the music version of the Epstein scandal? And why was Diddy protected for so long by so many people? In a special edition of Piers Morgan Uncensored, looking into a scandal that is rocking the world of show business and way beyond. Here to unpack the fall of a global icon from the criminal...
Just 1 year ago, Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most successful rappers and producers in music history, appeared untouchable. The VMAs honored him as a global icon. Private parties, industry dominance, and decades of influence defined his public image. But that image has shifted dramatically. A U.S. district attorney in New York announced the unsealing of a 3-count indictment charging Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that from at least 2008 to the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. It further claims he led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used his business empire to carry out criminal activity, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. He is now awaiting trial at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn after being denied bail. Reports suggest he has refused food and could even be on suicide watch. The case threatens to engulf the VIP world in speculation about alleged recordings involving celebrities and even politicians. The questions now echo loudly. Who knew what and when? How far could this reach? Is this the music industry's version of the Epstein scandal? And why was he protected for so long?
He said, I need you to go to Miami. He said, I'm letting Chris and Rihanna stay at the house. I need you to make sure everything is all right.
Was he at the house too?
Nah, he wasn't there. He stayed in LA.
Oh.
And he just sent me because he gave them the house to try to get their stuff together and everything else like that.
Huh.
And it was paparazzi across the street. He said, I just need you to make sure that the cameras don't get in there and everything. So I flew out there and it was even pictures of me and Chris Brown and them on the jet skis out there. So I stayed out there for the week and a half and they told me everything that happened and, they was trying to get it together.
How was the interaction between Rihanna and Chris Brown during that time? Were they really getting along or was there some arguments or?
Nah, she wasn't really fucking with him. She wasn't,
really?
Even when she was there, I think Puffy told him to go out and buy a Cartier he said, yo, you gotta go buy her some gifts. So he went out there and brought her a Cartier bracelet and all type of stuff. She was running around with her girlfriends. She had her girlfriends at the house too. And they was just running around. Paparazzi was up in the air and helicopters trying to get pictures. So they was running from house to house, hiding from underneath. But she wasn't really dealing with him. She was talking to him, you know what I'm saying? But she really wasn't, you seen the distance between them. And Chris had told me, he said, yo, she's mean. He said she spazzed out on me about the girl and she hit me upside my head.
He told you about the actual incident.
Yeah.
So tell me exactly what he said.
He said somebody had texted him. He didn't tell me who texted him, but he said she had grabbed the phone and she seen the text and she hit him upside the head. You know what I'm saying? He said when she hit him upside the head, he said, yo, Barnes, I'm not gonna lie. He said, I just spazzed out. He said, I blinked. He said, I blinked. He said, I blinked out. He said, I'm sorry, man. He said, but I blinked out. He said, Shorty, we was sitting right at the pool. He said, Shorty is mean, yo. You don't know how mean she is. And he said, when she just hit me upside my head like that, he said, I just blinked out.
Yeah, no one ever wants to talk about this part.
Yeah.
People always want to, paint.
Chris Brown is not a neutral observer. That is precisely why his voice draws attention. He understands fame under pressure, the mechanics of public backlash, and the fragility of status in ways outsiders do not. When someone shaped by controversy comments on another controversial figure, it can sound less like judgment and more like recognition. There is a difference. Recognition suggests familiarity with systems that protect, isolate, and distort. The most revealing testimony does not always come from heroes. Sometimes it comes from those who know how the room actually works. Can compromised voices still tell necessary truths?
Roger Bonds, how's it going?
That's blessed, man. Each and every day, man, it's going good.
That's what's up, man. So, for people who might not know, I think everybody kind of knows who you are, but for the people who don't know, you know what I'm saying, can you kind of give them a little bit of history on your relationship and your history with Diddy? How did you become his bodyguard, and how did all that take place?
It took place when I came home. I came home in 2000. And I was actually bodyguarding Loon. I had been, but that's another bad boy artist. I had been bodyguarding him for a couple of years. And a real close friend of mine was one of Diddy's security. But I used to always drop him off at work every day. And what happened was, when Wolf had stopped working with Puff, they had like an opening there. They was trying to find somebody that they could find that people respected to move into that lane. And his head of security asked my man one day, yo, I be seeing homeboy to drop you off every day. I see him holding down Loon and everything. Yo, what's the story? What's up with him? See if he want to come down. So one day I dropped my man down and me and him had a conversation. And I actually became his driver. So I wasn't with Puff. I was his head of security driver for about 3 years. And throughout them 3 years that I was his head of security driver, me and him would start having conversations. Me and him would start talking, and he got comfortable with me being around.
Okay, now, when did you actually make that, leap from just a driver to somebody more important in his
2006. 2006, his head of security came to me and said, yo, you ready to get on the books? And it was only like 2 or 3 people that could do that at that time. It was 50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Puff, who could actually give you the health insurance, give you the on the books, give you a check, pay taxes. Everybody else was kind of like sporadic. If they got a show, they would have security. But those were the only 3 guys that could give you an everyday job.
The headline may center on Chris Brown and Diddy, but the deeper story concerns how modern power operates. Influence today is rarely formal. It moves through favors, invitations, introductions, silence, and fear of exclusion. When those systems are challenged, the public often asks who is guilty. A harder question is who benefited, who stayed quiet, and who waited until it was safe to speak. That is where accountability becomes uncomfortable. Not in the spectacle of one downfall, but in the mirror it holds to everyone around it. If power depends on collective silence, what finally breaks it?